Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation Cree territory. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we Sorry. I would like to introduce the members of the panel today. To my far left, it's Mr. Larry Robinson. To my immediate left, it's Mr. Robert Kraus, and my name is Gisela Rempel. I'll be chairing the meeting today. From our assessment department, we have Olena Kostarova here. And from our administrative personnel, we have Fran Picotto to my immediate right and Twinkle Sharma. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that the comparison of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible or emailed if the postal strike continues. Please note that the board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail or email as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 2, 9, 11, and 15 on our docket today. Ms. Picotto, please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony.
Sure. Madam Assessor, please state your full name. Olena Kostarova. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Applicant, please unmute. Please state your full name.
Patrick James Obonde.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just as a matter of clarification, I had the owner as Pamela Obonde.
Yes.
Hey.
1 second.
It's a joint ownership with
Yeah.
Pamela is my wife.
Yeah, so they're both on there.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. I just had the one name as the owner. We just have to make sure that the people that we are speaking with are the registered owners or representatives thereof. So thank you very much for that. I will turn it over to the assessor to make your presentation, please.
Thank you. So the RA number, file number 24-159. My apologies, we just have a preliminary issue for this item, so we have lead evidence from the applicant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we start the item then, I think that what we should do is have a break and have the committee decide whether we are going to hear the late evidence or not.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great.
So I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the room just for a few moments. It won't take long.
Mr. Abonde, I'm just going to place you in the waiting room while the panel deliberates briefly. Thank you.
Can you tell me why your evidence was late, please?
The letter went to an address which we had vacated, and when it got to our present address, it was dumped away with a bunch of letters of the previous owner. So we were not aware of it until yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was also, yesterday I wasn't feeling well. I'm still not feeling quite well. So I was not able to act immediately on it.
I hope
But
you're
I
feeling better
tried
soon.
and at least put together some evidence, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that explanation, and the board has decided that we will hear your evidence that you have prepared, even though it was late, so thank you for that.
Thank
So
you.
with that, I'll turn it over to the assessor again and ask her to make her presentation.
File number 24-159, the subject roll number 010016475500, street address 164 Alfred Drive. It's in a neighborhood area of Violets. The market region is 6, which means Charleswood. Building type is 1 story. This is the single dwelling. Bungalow style, and the year built is 1965. However, the subject went through the significant renovations, and now the effective year built is 1985. Living area is 1,211 square feet. It has the full basement. Basement is finished. It has a 1 full bath, consists of the bathtub, the toilet, and the sink, and it has the half bath, which is the toilet, the sink, and the standing shower. There is no central air conditioning was mentioned. It has 1 fireplace. It has a single attached garage. And the assessed lot size is 8,794 square feet, with the land influences a school and a park. The assessed value for 2025 is 435,000, which brings us to per square foot at $358.38. I'm presenting you 4 comparables, and they are all located in this the River West Park. It's a very close neighborhood. It's still in Charleswood, Market Region 6. They all 1-story built. Bungalow style. The year built ranges between 1975 to 1977. The effective year built ranges between 1975 and 1979. The living area ranges between 1,046 square feet to 102,076 square feet. They all have finished basements, and they all developed. The only comparable one has an extra half bath and with the standing shower. That's going to be an adjustment made to decrease to the value. And the comparable 4 has 1 extra half bath. They all have the central air conditioning, and on the comparable 2 and 4 have the fireplaces. The comparable 2 has the detached single garage, when the comparable 1, 3, and 4 have the attached single garage, such as subject. Comparable 1 and 4 have the in-ground pools. The comparable one went through slight renovations and has flooring, furnace, kitchen, and windows redone. The comparable two has the bathroom, flooring, and windows redone, and that's why we could see the effective year built is different. So as comparable three has some changes, remodeling done as well, and that's why we could see the effective year built changed as well. The assessed lot sizes range between 5,996 square feet to 6,357 square feet, slightly smaller than our subject. The comparable 2 and 4 have the park influences, or we should say the green area. And the sale prices range between 390,000 to 495,000, brings us to the sale price per square foot at $372.85 to $388.79, with the time adjustment sale price range between 380,000 and 400,000 to 462,300, and time adjustment sale price ranges per square foot at $356.85 to $388.91. I'm presenting you the same map just to show how far is the distance in location between our subject and our comparables. They are not too far. However, the subject is located in quite good area. It has the Assiniboine Park to your right. It's actually walking distance from the subject. When all of the comparables more excluded from any of that luxury, and they have the highway, the perimeter right to the left from them. So it's quite noisy. However, stating that the Morey Street is busy as well, and that's very close to the subject, which you could see on the screen. Take into consideration that the size of the lot is quite bigger than our comparables, and take into consideration that living area is still slightly bigger. Only the comparable one has the slight differences, and the subject went through the significant renovations. It's just a fully remodel with the open concept kitchen, dining, and living room. My conclusion is that the 2025 value at $434,000 would be fair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Obonde, do you have any questions of the assessor at all?
My question would be in terms of the description of the finished basement. Did you verify that the finished works were certified? Because from where we are right now, that finished portion is hiding a measuring crack on the foundation. And so if it was certified, then that is a question that would be very interesting in understanding how could it have been certified with that fundamental defect.
Certified, you mean through the city of Winnipeg? You're talking about?
Yes, yes, because if
property?
it is considered as a factor, then it needed to have been certified because it is said significant renovations. But from where we are right now, we consider that, as my neighbor puts it, it's a lipstick job. It's just paint, and whatever was covered under the basement is fundamental structurally.
So I cannot state the fact how it was certified or not. I have not seen any permits through the PP&D. That's what we're looking as well at. However, how I took that information through the sale, post-reference sale, that's what we do verify as well. way it's stayed, the current state of the basement was fully redone. So technically, everything was fully redone.
Yeah, because then from the last sale, the fact that we have is that talking to the previous owner, the house sold for $270,000, and the leap in terms of the value now is almost twice that amount, and that is where we are feeling that the defect and the painting, just the painting, because nothing else was done other than painting and finishing the basement.
Mr. Obonde, I'm gonna give you a chance to make your presentation about what you think is fair in a moment. But right now, I'm wondering if you have any other questions of the assessor at all.
No, I don't have.
Okay, thank you very much then. Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions of the assessor?
I do not have this.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
The only one that comes to mind is that all the comps are so far away. I know they're in the same neighborhood. Could you find anything closer?
Unfortunately not in
Okay,
that.
that's the only question I had. Sorry, thank you.
I noticed that one of the land influences, aside from the park, is also a school.
Yes,
And I believe that that school is being demolished.
that is correct. At the moment, we still have that as a school because it's still there, it's standing, however, it's not functional. That's a great question. That is located at 3707 Rockland, and it's Chapman Elementary School, which was closed. It was sold, and now the condo living is supposed to be set there. We don't have yet the dates. However, the condo already, we've seen the plans, and that would be, it says condo living Princeton Estate, which will have the entrance from the Princeton Boulevard, which is behind the commercial on the right side, so it will not interfere with the subject.
Would the subject be able to see that development from their
Absolutely.
home?
They would.
And what kind of an influence would being near a school have on?
It's
Home
still
ownership.
residential, so at the, once that's, the development will be completed, it's still be residential. If the high rise will be there, then that would be the commercial. But if it's just a residential bungalows within 2 stories, there is nothing except the influence would be still a park.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Obonde, I'm going to turn it over to you to make your presentation, please, and present your evidence to us.
Thank you. I have 3 points of evidence to give. The first one is comparative pricing on the livable space. Our comparative review of the going sales, as evidenced below in the presentation that I have shared with you, indicates that this property is overpriced. We have since learned that the property was flipped from a previous sale price of $270,000 to us at $440,000. We regret our naivety and failure to secure full counsel from a professional before we entered into a sale agreement. However, it is based on our review now, it is our firm understanding that the properties in this location are similar, with similar specification, are not exceeding, would not exceed more than $350. And I've shared the details, example of some of those comparatives are based on the information which we secured from the assessment site. Our second point is that non-disclosure of fundamental structural defect and limited livable area For example, we have just talked about the significance of the renovations, which was the finishing of the basement. The property is described as having finished a finished basement. And this is an obvious attraction which informed our decision. Now, unfortunately, our first spring season in the home revealed a terrible problem of basement flooding. That we reported this difficult experience and sought help from the city department, but we failed to get any help. However, on inviting our insurer to assist, we learned that the house had a major lateral crack on the foundation wall. Therefore, the insurer declined also to compensate us. The flipping vendor apparently covered this major defect behind a drywall. We are yet to fathom the full extent of what it will cost to rip off the entire drywall and to fully address the structural problem. We have shared this discovery with our sale transaction lawyer, and it's an ongoing case to follow up on the vendor whose identity we also just learned when we discovered this problem. It is our submission that the defect renders the basement unfinished and thus reverts the property value to earlier levels. We are giving evidence of the efforts that we have made, particularly on the eastern and on the northern side, to check and establish the extent of the damage. We had taken some photos from the inside where the crack is really major, and unfortunately, I didn't have time to be able to retrieve those photos from the other folders. But I've given evidence of what that is. And so far, just an attempt to rebar the foundation on those sides. We have already spent more than $16,000. The recommendation is that the entire surrounding the house has to be opened up and the same kind of rebarring done, because the seepage, the water comes from all directions, including the western side of the property. Our third point is, and I've put in evidence examples of the previous value, which was at 236,000. And I've also put in a letter which is addressing our legal representative on the case. Our third point is that it's also talks about the school and the value that there is. But the value of this property will definitely decline due to a market reaction in view of the ongoing construction work of a high-rise condominium residential building right in front of the property. The plot, which was formerly an open space and a law school building, is right in front of us. And we are already experiencing an increased level of disturbing construction activities right at the entrance. As early as yesterday, we had activities going on right in front, and as depicted, you'll see some photos. There's dumping also on the same ground, and we are certain that with the high-rise, which is depicted also in the advertisement on the board, our front, we will have a permanent cast over shadow on the eastern side. And we believe that all these will impact on the value of the immediate property. We don't know for how long this construction work will go on. We can only say we have started, we are seeing already experiencing the disturbance and what is going on. You can see we have shared pictures of heavy machinery dumping material or taking away some things or digging going on in the neighborhood. Definitely, we are confident that this will significantly impact the value of this location. So considering these 3 points which we have raised, we appeal for revision on the property assessment, and we have further material evidence which, as I said, I've not been feeling well, and I got this information just the other day. So if need be, then we can put all that together and also resubmit more information on our points. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions?
I do.
of the applicant?
Could you please kindly tell me how much of the basement finish got affected by the crack? You said that you had to.
But we have managed to open. We have opened the wall on the eastern side and on the northern side, and all that. There's a lateral crack on the eastern side. It's major that even soil is flowing into the basement. When
And from inside?
Inside.
Inside.
So we have ripped off, as you have seen in the picture that we are showing. We had to rip off that work, that finished work. Now on the western side is where there is the room and the toilet or the facility which is there, and the recommendation, and of course depending on finances, is to open up the whole of that side and see the extent of the damage. But what we know, what we have experienced is that the bathroom gets water from the same direction, and the room which was created on the other end equally. We even have a molding problem now from that particular room.
So
And then, yeah.
is your bathroom in the basement still functional or not?
Well, it's flooded, but right now it's not, because we cleared the water. So we would consider it it will have to be redone somehow, because that crack which is leading to that seepage will have to be repaired. But then the digging has to be on the.
So you cannot use that bathroom at all? That's what I'm asking. You cannot use this bathroom at all right now? Not shower, not toilet, not a sink?
No, right now it can be used, except that
That's
as it is, the leakage, you step on it when, for example, the time that it's raining or winter or spring, and then you are stepping in water. So there's a permanent pad for just absorbing water.
Okay, thank you. I have no.
Thank you.
I have a rebuttal after.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
The only one I'll ask right now is, what do you think the assessment of this property should be? What do you feel it should be?
I think for us, we feel that it should not, the overall value of the property as it is should not exceed 350. So I think we just blundered, and it's a real stressful issue with us now, because we paid way above what is the sale price in the neighborhood. But that the attraction was that the basement was finished and there is an extra bathroom. And now that is all in question. The garage side is leaking, is seeping, and yeah, the whole job will have to be probably more expensive than we'll be able to afford.
Did you have a realtor help you with this purchase?
Yes, so we used a realtor, and he's also looped in the query, because we didn't get that part of disclosure, he needed to have ensured that at least we had disclosure, but the vendor used, I think, just a company name and somehow was not available to provide full details.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a few. Do you know, have you gotten a quote as to what the cost of repairing the entire damage, or is it too early for that yet?
No, we have not gotten the full cost, or the only quote we got was the works to open up to understand the extent of the damage and rebarring the eastern side of the property and the northern side of the property. That's what we opened up. So this other side, which we have not dealt with, including the side of the garage, we have not gotten a quote. And a neighbor also has complained that the person did raise the level, and so right now he's also asking that we reduce the level of our level, because now water drains into their compound. So that part of what is called major renovations, including a mistake where the vendor did raise the level of the house and the side of the house, and now water flows into the neighbor's side of the property.
Okay. So that'll be a landscaping issue on top of
Yes.
the work, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a number of comparables that you've submitted? I'm unfamiliar, like you've got, most of them are on Elmhurst Road. Is that in your neighborhood, or where is that located?
Yeah, these are they are in the neighborhood. They are within the I think the region, the market region 6. And some of them are just within the neighborhood. I think Elmhurst and also there's one on Elmcrest, but on the other side of the road.
And I see Lackdale,
Blackstone?
Laxall. That's also in your neighborhood, correct, or in the region?
Yes.
And then finally, do you know the height of the new residential condominium that's being built across the road?
I think they are talking of 5. I think 5 or 7 floors. I can't count from what I'm seeing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5, probably 6.
Thank you.
Because the property, the architectural design is what we are seeing. But definitely it will cast a shadow right in front of those pictures I took from within our living room. So
Mr. Obonde, I'm wondering, you also submitted some pictures here of the rebarring of the foundation walls. You've got a couple of pictures here of the foundation dug up
yes.
and then some work that's being done. Can you tell me when these pictures were taken?
These pictures were taken in October. I think in October, around October, because that's when we dug out to establish the extent of the damage.
And is this the eastern wall here that is shown?
What is shown is on the northern side.
Okay,
The barring that was that is what is shown here is on the northern side. That's into the compound of the neighbor on the northern side.
Okay, thank you.
And the rip-off which we have done to deal with the lateral crack on the inside on this side is on the eastern side. But they could not dig the front because that is that's where we have the stairs. So they will still need to do something, but it will need to remove the entire infrastructure of the front, the stairs, to be able to address that.
Thank you. You said you had already spent $16,000 on this foundation work?
Yes, yes. For this work alone, just to open up and inspect and do rebarring on the front, that was $13,000 paid to this company. And then the further works on the inside, which we are still, we have not ripped the entire infrastructure, but part of the infrastructure is being ripped off. That's about $3,000 so far spent.
Okay. I think that's all my questions, so I am going to ask you both if you have a summation, and then I know you have a rebuttal as well.
Yes, I do.
So do you have a summation you would like to make?
I do. Technically based, now I understand more concept of the basement finish, so definitely we need to reflect this damage. We still have the existing 1/2 bath and the shower. Based on the comparables homeowner provided, they are not quite comparable, and especially as the homeowner provided the 1.5 stories, the older, there is no garage detached. I see so far, unfortunately, I don't have that much time to review them all. However, and they older homes, so harder to compare. Influences, that's another big land influences. And as I stated prior to it, once the condominiums will be set up, yes, the land influence will be changing as well. And at this moment, I'm willing to take to consideration that the owner does have an issue. However, stating the fact that homeowner said that the purchased price prior to him was 220, we cannot take that sale either, because there wasn't on MLS, there wasn't arm and land free, so it's not, we can't, and it wasn't registered through us either. So at this point, we are suspecting that based on its condition, I'm willing to decrease with the basement having issues by what he had paid.
By what he has paid?
Well, I would say even, now we're going inside, so far my estimates it's 25,000, so 434 minus 25,000. That's what I see.
And I would believe that's your rebuttal then?
My rebuttal was just to present the pictures. He was stating that was just a paint, there was not, everything was fully redone. Unfortunately, we did report it to the PPNZ on our department that this work was done without the permits. We do have that option and we do that. So yeah, because we do check that as well. Thank you.
And do you have a summation that you would like to make, Mr. Awande?
What I would, based on what the assessor has just said regarding the previous price, we are in touch with the owner who sold to the person who flipped it, and they would be able to confirm that the transaction was only $270,000, and I would also just pray that if we consider the unfathomable conditions that are obtaining, it will not be fair to say that the bathroom is in use and the facility then retains the value. What about the construction work that is going on that we don't know for how long that the works will be going on in the neighborhood. What about the interruptions that come with that, as already depicted on my presentation?
Is that part of your summation or is that a question for the assessor?
Well, that is part of my submission that the challenge of unfathomable conditions that are going to prevail negates the assessment that the conditions are deserving the figures that have been quoted as assessed.
Thank you very much for that summation and thank you both for your.
Could I answer
Pardon me.
one more question?
Okay, Mr. Robinson?
Just, could you reconfirm the dollar value of the offer that you're making to reduce the assessment by? What are you offering to reduce it to? Recommending that you reduce it to?
Oh,
What is your recommendation now? You've adjusted it, right?
it's average, so far, it was original 434 minus 25,000.
So if I do that math,
It's
then you're
four-
talking
It's
409.
49.
Thank you, just wanted to verify.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. That will conclude our presentations. Thank you both very much for 164 All Crest Drive, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with a decision. Thank you. Happy
Thank you.
holidays to you too.
Thank you for the opportunity to share our predicament with you.
Thank you.
Blessings.
We will move on to number 9 on our agenda today, 657 Wellington Crescent. And do we have the same assessor for that?
Yeah, the other assessor was for seven, which one?
Okay, so the other assessor will be here.
So we've got the applicant on Zoom.
All right. So here we are at 657 Wellington Crescent, and I will hand it over to the,
Actually,
oh, of course, sorry, Ms. Nicole.
good morning, Ms. Applicant, can you please state your full name?
Sylvia Simone Calvagna.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I hand it over to the assessor for your presentation, please.
Thank you. File number 24-854. The subject roll number is 12040480000. Street address is 657 Wellington Crescent, and it's located in the neighborhood area in Wellington Crescent. The building style is the 2.5-story single dwelling. The year built is 1903, and the effective year built is still 1903. The living area is 5,902 square feet. It has the full basement, but it's not developed. It has 4 full baths. It has half bath 1 and the standing shower 1. There is no central air conditioner. The 2 fireplaces, and it has multi-detached garage. The assessed lot size is 18,534 square feet, and it's adjacent to the Assiniboine River. It has the light traffic as well. Assessed value is 798,000, which brings us to the total assessed value per square foot at $135.21. I'm presenting you 4 comparables. It's a hard neighborhood, unfortunately. I had to go slightly out of the neighborhood, which is Wellington Crescent, and find similar comparables in the market region 7 itself, which is Tuxedo River Heights. And the 2 neighborhoods I was researching is 601, which is Crescentwood, and 119 Armstrong Point. They all adjacent to our Wellington Crescent neighborhood. Building types, they all 2.5 stories. That is the harder part because the older the buildings, it's harder to find 2.5 stories than more 2 stories or bungalows. The year built is range between 1907 to 1914. The effective year built ranges between 1914 to 1942. The living area ranges between 4,488 square feet to 6,017 square feet. Basement types, they all have basements. However, only the comparable 4 has the basement finished. The full bathrooms and half bathrooms is various. The comp one has 1 bathroom less. And comparables have only 1 and 4. The central air conditioning. The fireplaces, they all existing. It's just the amount of fireplaces the comparables have. They vary between 1 to 3. The attached garages only for the comparables 3, and it's the double attached garage. And all others comparable 1 and 4, they have double detached garages. And comparable 2 has the 4 actually detached garages. There is no in-ground pool or sunrooms. The comparable 1 went through significant renovations. The comparables 2, 3, and 4 had some renovations done. However, it's I would say that comparable 2 has the renovations. I know for a fact it's the bathroom, flooring, kitchen, boiler, and electrical. Some comparables such as 3 and 4, they have electrical done. Some had exterior, some had flooring. So, and for the assessed lot size, we range between 9,540 square feet to 23,001 square foot. And the sale prices range between 779 and 800,000 to 1,010,000, with the sale price per square foot at $153.14 to $216.97, with the time adjustment sale price at $818,000 to $1,076,000. With the time adjustment sale price bringing us to $160.64 to $221.81. I have to say that it is hard to compare Wellington Crescent to any other streets, as after all, it's only the street so far, the most prestigious street in Winnipeg. So it is slightly harder to find and compare. And we do take the Wellington, I would say that subject is slightly more superior in location than everybody else I presented. And I have to say that the comparables, such as comparable 2, with the largest size lot at 23,000, it is adjacent to the Assiniboine, such as the subject. However, it has, I would consider that slight restrictions because it has the historical heritage. So homes like that, it is sometimes harder to sell, as well as just to sell the homes on the mountain. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Calvaga, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yes, I just did have one question. When I originally pulled up my comps on 11/14, when I submitted my evidence, I used 83 Kingsway because that was one of my comps that were in my system file when I pulled up my address.
So your question would be why I didn't use that comps?
Yes.
Yes, so the to answer your question is the automatic comparables. It's just how the system derives to that. However, once we have the appeal, we're going more into the details, which comps we allowed to use. You have a limit of 4. We could review way more comparables. And for that, I chose little different comparable. In fact, only that was one.
That's fine.
Comparables much
That's fine.
worse.
I was just curious. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all your questions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
So my understanding is, the 2 Armstrong points are heritage, area, sales, and so that would, the potential, there's a negative, I guess, or harder to sell.
I cannot speak about 2. I know for a fact 1, and it's a 39 Eastgate, which is the comparable 2. Yes, the comparable 4 has slightly different the look to the building as well. And but the comparable 2 for sure, because it has the heritage.
Sure. And the subject is not in a heritage area, Wellington, that Wellington Crescent is not a heritage, like the heritage area.
No, I'm not so far as I know. No, I apologize. I do believe it's only one building which where the Eden was living in. That is, I think, I apologize. I will not be stating the full fact of it. I think that's only that building.
Okay. I think that's all my questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
I do not.
And I don't have any questions at this point, so Ms. Calvaga, I'll turn it over to you to make your presentation, please.
Great. Thank you so much. Yes, in reviewing the comps, the closest comp to my home, just based on square feet and so forth, would be comp number 2, which is 39 Eastgate. However, that home, which sold at over $1 million, has extensive updates. If I'm looking at the updates, well, of course, it's completely renovated, plumbing, kitchen, baths. I actually watched the video online. So, but they have 7 bedrooms, 6 baths, steam shower, elevator is included in the home. And when I watched the video, it did say the finished basement. So as it has a wet bar sitting area, and I thought it had a 3-piece bath in the video. I looked at their riverbank, which is a totally intact riverbank. In other words, the whole backyard is a usable space. They had a large brick patio in the backyard with a gas fireplace. And the one thing I just wanted to bring up with property influence, we're both located on the riverbank, but with Wellington Crescent, we have the enhanced summer route, which is great because during the summer, they go to a 30-kilometer speed limit. However, in the winter, probably everybody coming from Charleswood, coming from Tuxedo, coming from River Heights, uses Wellington Crescent as a cut through, as opposed to using Academy Road. So as I've spoken to other neighbors, during the winter, it can be almost, well, it's very, very busy coming in and out of our driveway. So I know it says light traffic, but I know that traffic during the winter can be a little bit above and beyond. Now, I'd just like to go through, I'm going to be reading this. So my home is located adjacent to the Maryland Bridge next to the old Shriners Hospital for Children. The hospital was closed in May of 2016 and has been empty through October of 2023. It was demolished due to disrepair and riverbank erosion instability. The demolition, which started in October 2023 and was completed in early December 2023, vibrated throughout my home. The vibration caused additional cracks in the plaster lath, as well as the separation of drywall. The demolition company used a backhoe to smash the concrete parking area located adjacent to my home. Although I had spoken with the on-site construction foreman regarding the vibrations to my home, they continued in the same fashion. The property has now been sold and they are building 14 detached condo homes. This will be a positive for the neighborhood in the upcoming years. However, it will once again be a detriment to my home for several years until the construction is completed. Riverbank remediation, noise, of course, the dust, dirt, digging, installing piles for the home will cause vibrations, which will once again cause damage to my home. In addition, of course, the theft at construction sites across the city is an ongoing issue. Living beside a large construction site, I think the site is over 2 acres. It's very different than living across a very wide street. The property located to the right of the construction site is a church, not a residential property. The church building also has a larger buffer zone for the construction site. Living next to the abandoned building, I've had to call the police on several occasions, had break-ins, property damage, and I think I attached a picture of the fire that was started next to our trash bins, which nearly burnt down our garage. After the demolition was complete, I thought this would decrease incidents. Unfortunately, people still walk into my property because that land is wide open. And I've also had people come up from the riverbank. I've installed cameras this summer while I was away. We had a person try to break in, neighbor was called, but they left. While the comparable homes have similar characteristics such as building type, living area, garages, frontage, etc., they have been completely renovated and updated. Electrical, plumbing, bathroom, kitchen, and landscaping. Purchasing any of the comparable homes would be to buy a home in the 1900s that has been upgraded to a home built for 2025. And just some estimates: to upgrade the knob and tube for my home runs approximately $17 to $20 per square foot. So basically that would be an upgrade of $100,000 in around that amount. Bear with me. Also, our riverbank has sunk several feet behind the back of the home, which I also attached photos, creating basically an unusable backyard. The yearly spring flooding has caused the backyard to become unstable. When the water recedes, it erodes the soil and causes large cracks and crevices. So living adjacent to the Assiniboine River is in no way really a positive. The work required to stabilize the riverbank with rock columns, because the riverbank would need large holes dug, and rocks would have to be placed in those columns in order to stabilize the riverbank and do infill, because you just can't infill with soil. You have to stabilize the riverbank first. Next door at the old Shriners, they are planning to do the rock columns. So the cost would be well over $200 just to do rocks at the bottom. Cost my neighbor $100,000, and that was, I think, 6 years ago. My home has had maintenance updates, such as some galvanized pipes have been replaced due to leaks. Old heating pipes are still encased in asbestos. Some windows have been replaced. The roof was replaced. No other upgrades, renovations since the home was purchased. There are currently a handful of older homes built in the 1900s on Wellington. Most of the older homes have been torn down and new modern homes have been built. Of the older homes remaining, the majority have been upgraded and renovated. At such a time when I sell my home, it will also be demolished. Too few people are willing to spend the money to upgrade this home. And that is it.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I do. You showed the pictures of erosion and prior to it, you spoke to our department. Did they explain you anything about the size of the land that they will be reducing the land? size?
Yes, they already have.
Okay.
They have already reduced the size of the land. I spoke to, I think my current assessment does reflect the land that has disappeared, not like just due to erosion down at the bottom.
Correct. And thank you for that. And you have stated that additional cracks and plaster. Do you have pictures to provide? Like
No, unfortunately, I did not. And the other thing was, I did not know that my house was going to vibrate when they were taking down the Shriners. So unfortunately, I did not take photos inside before they started the demolition.
Okay.
So I never even thought to do that because I thought, well, nothing would really happen to my home.
Right, okay. And the roof was replaced. When was it replaced? What year?
Oh, probably about 9-10 years ago.
So, and could you please, was nothing else replaced on the top of the roof?
There was, yes, there was a the roofer did a on the flat top.
Okay, and what was it?
It was a structure because the roof was leaking.
Okay, just the structure. Is it a metal structure?
I'm sorry?
Is that a metal structure?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I had to ask because I thought it's the solar panels, so that's why I was asking.
Oh, no, it was just a metal structure to
Okay.
Yeah.
To prevent, and that was done just recently, correct?
Yeah, that was done, I think, about 3 years ago.
And your windows, you still saying that they were replaced when?
Oh, those were done when my father was alive, so that was probably 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Okay, thank you. I have a rebuttal after that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of prices for the Knob Tube upgrade and the riverbank up, like, solidifying the riverbank. Are those quotes or are those just sort of estimates based on neighbors' quotes or?
Those were estimates based on neighbors' quotes.
Okay, so you personally haven't gotten a quote from a company to redo your Knob Tube or anything like that?
No, I did meet with a company about 6 years ago. So it was Engtech, and when my neighbors were doing their property.
And this is just an aside, but I've had the same issue when construction has happened next to my house. And if the company usually has insurance to cover damage to neighboring properties. So you might want to check into that for when they start working on the new stuff.
Thank you. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, I didn't,
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
Yes, I guess they're doing or going to do riverbank remediation on the new condo portion of the river.
Yes.
Is that going to help you at all?
It helps everybody, actually.
Okay.
So the more people, but however, it won't help my land because I would have to do the same remediation. So each remediation that is done on a property really helps that property. For example, rock columns are what stabilize your actual riverbank. Putting rocks at the bottom just helps, prevents your land from eroding down at the bottom.
Okay, I understand that. Would What do you think the assessment of your property should be for 2025?
Well, I was looking at 725.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just wondering about a couple of things. I noticed that the effective year built for your home is the same as the year it was built, 1903. So there haven't been any renovations done inside whatsoever.
Nothing. The home is exactly as it was when the home was purchased.
And I also noticed when the assessor was making her presentation, she said that there was no sunroom on your home. But in your evidence, you indicated somebody ripped the outside door of your.
Yes, I do have a sunroom. Sorry, I did make a note of that on the sheet. That
Okay,
she sent over, I put yes.
so you do have a sunroom, okay.
Yes. It's a three upper and lower sunroom. It's only used in the summer.
Okay. And can you tell me when the pictures were taken that you've submitted of the fire? et
Oh,
cetera?
okay, that fire was from 2023. And the riverbank was probably done in before the snow came. So it would have been probably in July of this year.
Okay, thank you very much. And this time I'm gonna do it the other way around. I'm gonna ask the assessor if she has a rebuttal before we do the summations.
I do have a rebuttal, thank you.
Okay, please proceed.
Oh, you see that happens? Okay, thank you. Yeah. It should be. So I will go through the comparables to the owner provided, and I would like to clarify a few things. The 39 East Gate, which is a comparable one, in the owner's brief. We used the 2020 sales, that's what exactly I used in my comparables. And you do see on the first pictures that that's the sale of the comparable subject. It does say that the basement is unfinished. It only has the 4 bath and 1/2 bath. So on the second page, I do believe that's where the homeowner was taking information as well. I did mark it down that it has status, heritage status. Unfortunately, I had to take out the agent's information due to the Privacy Act. So that is normally not the page we showing. And it would show exactly what was done in 2020 for the updates. So technically, I cannot say that this home, and the pictures were provided for 2020. I cannot say this home was absolutely fully redone. And when you're gonna move to the 39 East Gate for the sale of 2023, which sold for 1.2 million, that's where you will see the updates with the elevator mentioned for the finished basement. And the information would be adding more remodelings such as electrical, exterior, roof covering. So this is not the sale I was taking into consideration. And in a homeowner statement, they at this moment for the 2020, the basement was not finished. And just to prove the fact that elevator wasn't existing back in 2020, I pointed out where the elevator is located in 2023. In the picture, marked with the red circle, I apologize for the other red circle. But just to show, just a quick summarization, it would be showing the comparable on the comparable one. On my last stating 2020, there is no elevator, and Sunday we have an elevator. It's actually a beautiful location. And once again, to prove it, I added the permit, which was pulled after the 2020 sale, which was pulled in November.
And I would like to point it out that the sale, the previous sale which I was using and the homeowner is using in for comparable, it's in April of 2020. So April versus November, we know that for a fact that the elevator was created in 2023. And with all the updates, we cannot say that the 39 East Gate during 2020 sale was fully updated. The residential, the next comparable was 70 Kingsway. Once again, I cannot say that I cannot state the fact that it's fully completed, as the states under the residential postage that electrical exterior flooring and some other remarks. I don't see really a kitchen to be remodeled. However, I would like to point it out on MLS. They do have mistakes too. It says that it's only 2 full baths and half bath 1. However, we do see clearly 3 bathrooms, and that's what we have on our records as well. And I pointed that out on the pictures, stating the fact which bath is number 1, bath number 2, and bath number 3. It has the tub in a weird location, but it still has the tub, and we'll still be considering the tub, the sink, and the toilet as a full bath. So that's something else to point it out. Then we're gonna, as well, I would like to point it out to you that the same comparable to on the 70 Kingsway upgrades. The home is actually stated that they do have the list of upgrades. However, if I'll bring that your attention to the appendix, which I took from MLS 2. The owner did state that they are aware of the cracks, the shifting, and it would be expected from that year built as well. So for that reason, the homes do go through the shiftings, the cracking, and they have specified that they had a flooding issues as well. And even floors in the basements, and as well as the leakage. Some things just set in 2008, they did the piles, but some things still appeared. So that's just pointed out. The comparable 3 is the 40 East Gate, and that's the building, which once again, I would like to point it out that I cannot state the fact it's fully completely renovated or updated home. So it has, it says I see on the pictures, it's only 1 bath and it's only 1 tub was replaced. I cannot once again state the fact that the bathrooms fully redone. And once again, I was showing to you previously that MLS do make mistakes and or making better. It did say that an extensive list of improvements made by the owner is available. We don't know exactly which extensive list. All what I see, it says obviously electrical, some of the obviously plumbing could have been done if they were redoing the bathroom. So, and the comparable 83, it says that homeowner, it says double detached garage. So mistake is done that it's stated it's attached garage for the 83 Kingsway. Once again, detached with the attached would be considered slightly higher in and more desirable than the detached, because after all, you have to come out all the way out. And just to point it out to my last, and I provided the pictures of that as well. And just to bring up, I do understand, however, that homeowner has to put much into her home. On Wellington Crescent, as we know, and I already pointed that out, and that's going to be kind of my summarization too, that it is the most prestige area, street in Winnipeg. And we know how much, and she stated that probably chances are once somebody will buy her home, it will be demolished. And just to prove that fact, it probably will, it possible will be demolished. And However, I don't agree that the land doesn't have a value. And that's another proof I added to my sheet too. It's just to show only on Wellington Crescent during the past, within the reference time, prior to April 1st of 2023, that 2 comparable lands were sold, and actually they're slightly smaller. They exactly on the same side for the owner, from the same owner. It's just slightly smaller lot size than homeowner has, but it's still values with the time adjustment sale price at $49 per square foot. And our subject has $43 per square foot. I would say the range. I apologize. I should not say 49. I should not take that higher figure. I should say from $45 to $49, almost $50 per square foot. So just to show that the price of $798,000 for the lot alone is, so that's what the value is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Pavlovna, do you have any questions of the assessor's rebuttal?
No, yes, I did have one question. So, the statement is that the land alone is 45 to 49 a square foot. So that would equate to the 798,000.
Yes, that's correct. Sorry, yes, that's correct.
Okay. So irregardless, even if the person, do you know where those 2 homes were located that were sold? Because some may have already had riverbank remediation done before the homes were purchased.
The location is on the sheet. So.
Because then I would have to take, if the person purchasing my property would have to put the money in just like they are next door when they do their work to do the remedial work on the riverbank. So I don't know if those 2 other properties already had remedial work done or did not have remedial work done, and when they sold it, did they sell it as is, so the new owner paid for the work, or was the riverbank intact? Because once you get past my house, my neighbor's house, actually, there's about 5 of us that have riverbanks that once you step out to your backyard, you're completely walking down hills. You're not walking straight out to a flat riverbank. Whereas you go down Wellington Crescent, people have riverbanks where they can actually walk out, just even if you do an aerial view, where they can actually walk out without a sloping riverbank.
So the addresses are on the vacant comparable sales report, and that is 693 Wellington and 697 Wellington.
697.
Yeah, 697 was selling for already without the home that time, but prior to it, it was selling as well with the home. So yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's quite a ways for me. But like I said, myself and up to the red brick house, which he did substantial. I don't know what his address is, but there's a very large brick house about 3 homes away from me. I'm not too sure on the address. He put up a huge wall to protect him from the water, because his is the lowest lying home on Wellington Crescent. See, and I don't know if either of these 693 or 697 did have their remedial work done already.
Yeah.
because that's something you would have to take into account, because if I were to try to sell my home, they're always going to try to get the cheapest price. So, which I understand. But here I am, they're negotiating and they're saying, well, you know, Sylvia, you have to, or we have to put in 200, maybe more into the riverbank. So we want the land for this price.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
I have a question. Thank you.
And I think all my questions have been asked and answered, and so I don't know if you have a summation apart from the rebuttal.
Once again, just knowing that the subject's location and knowing that only we have actually assessed at the land value. I do believe that 780 is very well supported.
Thank you. Ms. Kavagna, do you have a summation you would like to make?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, I would just like to say, not only due to the riverbank work that would need to be done, I think also living next to a construction site for the next 2 years, and don't forget, it'll be right on top of me, the 14 condos that are being built. I think it does give a little bit of devaluation to the property, because yes, once those condos are built, I agree, 100% great for the neighborhood. While the construction is going on, as I mentioned, living across from the construction zone is different than living right beside the construction zone. And the way the plan is, actually, one of the condo homes are going almost right next to me, although the entrance will be on Wellington Crescent. So, and the completion of 14 condo homes, I think, will take longer than a year, I presume. So also, just to take note, my home is located right adjacent to the Maryland Bridge. And I agree, Wellington Crescent is considered, as the assessor mentioned, one of the most prestigious streets, pardon me. However, also your location on Wellington does have some effects as well. I find the closer you are to the Maryland Bridge, the closer you are to incidents that do happen, and I truly believe the value is a little bit less than those that live in midsections to the other ends of Wellington Crescent. And I think that is it.
Thank you very much, both of you, for your presentations today. And that would complete 657 Wellington Crescent. We will now move on to number 11, which is 1237 Wellington Crescent.
We do not have anyone present for that item, and we do not have any witnesses.
Okay, so we'll move that to the end of the agenda today then, to see if somebody shows up, and we'll move on to number 15 on our agenda today, which is 84 Campbell Street, which must be you, Mr. Frey, since you're.
Am I the only one so illiterate that I can't go on Zoom or like, or you?
No, well.
We're not on Zoom either. so-
No.
You can step up.
Want me here?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay.
Please affirm the applicant's testimony, yes.
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
John Fraze,
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. And just for your information, the previous applicant said that was her first time on Zoom too, so we can all learn.
What's it that people actually go through this technology rather than actually come here?
I know it's strange because during this assessment period, you know, we've had more people attending in person, which is kind of nice. It was all on Zoom because of COVID and so on previously, so I think it's nice to have the applicant and to have the assessor and to have the board here in person once in a while, for sure. And I think that the administrative personnel have no choice, they have to be here, so. They have to work the technology. So, gonna hand it over to the assessor now to, present us with her brief, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions and present yours.
Thank you. Before I even start, I apologize. If you are to scroll down to the third page on the map, I made personally a mistake, and it says comp 34. There is no comp 34. There is comp number 4, so 3 should be as the number. In this case, I do apologize. And I will start with my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the file number is 24-849. The subject roll number is 12060805000. Street address is 84 Campbell Street, and it's located on Wellington Crescent neighborhood, the Market Region 7, which is a Tuxedo River Heights. It's a 2-story building, and it's a single dwelling. Year built is 1920, with significant renovations when under, and now the effective year built is 1970. The living area is 2,124 square feet. It has the partial basement and it's complete. It has 3 full baths and 1 extra standing shower. It has the central air conditioning and the fireplace, one. It has 2 types of garage detached. It's 1 single and 1 double. There is no in-ground pool or sunroom. And the assessed lot size is 5,989 square feet. And which brings our total assessment for 2025 at 653,000, or per square foot at $307.44. I'm presenting you 4 comparables. There was easier one. They all been located in the Wellington Crescent. And once again, the same neighborhood as our subject. It's all 2-story buildings, and they all a year built is ranges between 1919 to 1939, with effective year built range between 1939 to 1970, meaning they all went through some or some significant renovations. The living area ranges between 1,767 square feet to 2,195 square feet. The basement type, they all have the basement, partial basements, and they all been developed. And we have different ranges of the bathrooms. I would say that comparable 1 has an extra bathroom, full bathroom, and comparable 3 has less bathrooms. So some adjustments, small adjustments will need to be there. The central air conditioning on the comparable 4 doesn't have, and they all have fireplaces. The attached garage is only for the comparable 1, and it's a double. Everybody else has the detached garages. Comparable 2 has only the single detached garage. Adjustment will be needed. There is no in-ground or sunroofs for any of the comparables. The assessed lot size ranges between 4,300 square feet to 6,002 square feet. And the largest one, that would be the comparable 4. Not a significant change, not a significant, I would if to round it up, it's on the 13 square feet. In a lot size as per our subject. The sale prices range between 647,500 to 805,000, with the sale price per square foot range between $296.13 to $447.22. Time adjustment sale price range between 647,500 to 762,300. With the time adjustment sale price range between $307.63 to $423.50. I would like to point it out that I have used the comparable by the sale of the subject, which happens to be back in 2022. And the same thing, I would like to show you the comparable map. They are not all the comparables I took. It's not far from each other. Only maybe comparable, which on my map is 34, slightly farther, but it's still the reason I chose that because it's not far from Academy Road and Elm Road. So it's more what has traffic, and you can hear the traffic. So on Campbell Street, it's our subject is located on that Campbell Street. As well, I showed present you the comparables, just a visual home. So I cannot use the subject because it's recently sold again in 2023. I cannot use their sale only because it's after the April 1st of 2023, which will be considered the post reference. However, I use the sale from 2022. And I just show you the buildings. There is no such a thing as identical. Just to give you an approximate view what exactly I was looking at. And based on my evidence, I do strongly believe, and I think that the comparable price, which is the subject itself sale, would be supporting the sale of new value at 653,000. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Frakes, do you have any questions of the assessor at all?
Yeah, I have a few. When you work out your comparable prices, like to me, that looks like it's very accurate, and a lot of detail, which is pretty good. But I'm curious, are you finding just the comparable prices that are at the higher end? Or do you also see other homes that are at the lower end on the comparable prices?
We see everything. My majority, obviously, we see everything. The comparables, which you probably see generated automatically. That's just what generates the system. But once we go in and take a look at everything else, we take into consideration it's the manpower. So I'm looking at the year built, how close is the year built, the style of the building, the size of the lot, because they could be very different. It could be very similar building, but with such a small size of the lot. So a few other things needs to be taken into consideration. Less adjustments we do, more accuracy we get. And the values you see is the sale prices on MLS with the time adjustment sale price.
Yeah, so basically you're saying that there's no way that you would see one that has comparable prices that looks a lot lower and then just disregard that and just regard the ones that are the higher numbers. You're not doing any of that, right?
No, we're not. Yes, it's.
So what, it also talks about living area or live area. What, does that include basement square footage?
No, we don't. That's why I was specifying that the basement has been completed.
In the description of the garage, it's not really, like it sounds like a 3-car garage almost. It's a garage that has room for
Oversized.
2 cars barely, like 1 car, full-size car, no problem. The other one is like a RAV or a Toyota, but not
Right.
as big a car. So it's really just a 2-car garage.
Right.
And the rec room that they talked about is just painted plywood on the walls. It's not really an office well, it could be used as an office, I guess, in the summer. In the winter, they have a heater in there, but nobody would ever use it in the winter. So it just seemed like it was a little over glorified, but it's probably not a big significant part of the price of the house either.
Do you have any questions of the assessors? Because we're gonna get you to make your presentation in a minute, if that's part of your presentation.
Okay. All right, then the other question would be the basement, I think you stated it was a partial basement, is that right?
Yes, if you do have the crawling space or certain.
The main floor is bigger than the basement, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yes.
good. Then I guess I'm done.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna give you an opportunity to make your presentation in a moment.
Okay.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions at all of the assessor?
I do not.
Mr. Kraus?
I just noticed with your comparables, or the subject compared to the subject,
Mhm.
the subject is quite close to academy. Whereas the comparables are more in the middle of their blocks. Does that have any, would that be considered a negative influence in any capacity, or is the subject far enough, like, it looks like it's maybe one removed from academy.
Yeah, that's why I'm using the comparable 4, which is the closest one. On my map, it's comparable 34. Which is the closest one to the academy too, between Elk and Academy.
Okay.
Very closest, so that would kind of show you exactly where we sit standing at as well with the values. It's yes and no, because noise will not influence as much. That's why we don't have the traffic.
Oh, you know what, I've actually misread the map, I was thinking this was academy's down here, sorry,
Oh,
never mind, disregarding the question.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay,
I have no other questions.
Okay.
thank you. And I don't have any questions at this point, so I will turn it over to you, Mr. Fraze, to make your presentation, please.
All right, well, basically, I was kind of quite surprised by the assessment. Only because of what I'd experienced living in North Kildonan. And there, the assessment value was never higher than the purchase price. We only paid $625,000 for this home last year, and we're being assessed $653,000, which doesn't seem right. Like in North Kildonan, our house was valued or just sold at $460 and was assessed at $420, and every other year was always assessed substantially less than what a sales price would be. So I just, yeah, if we use the same ratio that we paid in North Kildonan, we'd be at $568,750. Whereas now we're at $653,000, which is substantially more than what we had in another area of the city. So I was just curious as to how that could be. Like, to me, it doesn't seem justified. But I agree with your comparisons that you've done in some of those areas, but I just don't see, maybe my house is being, like the true market value is $625,000, which is what we paid.
Is that the extent of your presentation?
I got nothing more.
Okay, thank you. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So you have purchased that already after the April 1st of 2023, correct?
Sorry?
You purchased your home already after the April 1st of 2023.
Yes,
Can you tell me a little bit more about the sale of your property itself?
I don't know.
I don't, okay, so exactly because do you know who the owners were?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I got those documents at home.
Was the owner was willing to sell fast enough for the home?
What he asked and what he,
Right, did you negotiate?
I don't even recall what the asking price was. I don't, maybe it was around, maybe they were asking around $650, I think. And we offered them $625 and they accepted.
But you don't know who the owners are, okay.
Off the top of my head, no,
Okay,
but
that's
I
fine.
probably got that information at home.
So you want, could you say that the owner was willing to sell fast enough the home?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, he was quite willing to sell at
And
$625.
also. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
Just for clarification, what do you view that your house should be assessed at? Is it like the 91% you had said, 568,000 approximately?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at this?
No,
purchase price?
I thought 568,000 would be reasonable.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Robinson?
So the assessment value you're hoping for is $568,000.
Yes.
That's the only issue I needed to settle as well.
Okay, thank you. And I have no further questions. So I'm wondering if you'd like to make a summation?
Yes, thank you. Based on the statements, based on my comparables I provided, We do treat every market region slightly different. That's why every market region has its own advantages and disadvantages. So you have a better, more superior market region right now, Tuxedo / River Heights you live in. And for that reason, the supportive evidence, should have mentioned that in the rebuttal. Sorry,
Would you like it to be distributed then?
Oh,
The rebuttal?
yeah, sorry, I thought the rebuttal was automatically distributed.
No, only if it's mentioned. So we'll just print that off for.
okay.
You're, okay.
It's a quick one, it's,
Oh,
I do have. For the whole one, I don't worry about printing, I have it.
oh, you have it? Okay.
Yeah, it's just the pictures, just to show the pictures. Okay. Thank you.
So the assessor has a rebuttal. Which, okay, thank you.
So the rebuttal is just to show that 2022 sale and 2020 and sale of the subject after the fact. It was identical, there was no other changes were done. And just to point it out that this the subject did go through the significant renovations. And I do understand, however, that the sale price is way higher, and for that reason, as you could see on my comparable 5, we had to adjust that sale to bring downwards to better reflect the market sale. And based on the facts and based on everything I have presented, I'm concluding that the value of 653,000 is very well supported in that market region alone. Thank you.
Do you have any questions of the rebuttal of the assessor?
No, I can see where you're coming from, like makes sense. But ultimately, the market determines what the actual value is, and the market is clear that it's $625,000. And so you can compare ours with other houses that make it appear, but
Sir, only one thing is post reference, we cannot speak to on your sale, I'm sorry, we can't, that's,
I'm sorry, you can't what?
we cannot speak on your, about your sale. I only could speak before April 1st.
So does that mean next year you'll be able to speak on the sale?
Yes, actually for the new reassessment of 2027. Your sale will be reflecting the new reassessment for 2027.
So would that go down 2 years from now based on the?
It all depends on the market, it all depends on the market. If the market would start right away rising again up, we need to adjust with the time adjustment sale price and bring once again the comparables and see where we're sitting now. Hopefully, we're not gonna receive that bubble once again, but it's good for everybody else to have, we're sitting on the equity. Sorry.
Okay,
Do you understand we can only accept information about sales prior to April 1st?
okay, I can understand.
So,
2023.
yeah, yeah.
It just doesn't seem to be a fair way of doing it when everybody knows that the real value is 625,000, because that's what we paid. But if some people paid more, then it reflects, it's harder for us to negotiate, but I'm at your mercy, so I have nothing more to say.
Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions?
I have no question.
Mr. Robinson,
I do not.
summation, Madam Assessor?
Thank
You're
you.
fine.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a summation?
That would just be repeating myself. You don't need that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for both your presentations today. And that concludes item 15 on our docket today. So we will take a short break to meet privately to determine whether we're going to hear number 11.
Can I ask one question though? So you're saying basically when the next assessment is done, then I should make another appeal based on what our selling price was?
May I answer that question?
Certainly.
Thank you.
No, sir, before you actually appealing, we do have an excellent program in place. And that calls residential review program. It will be running in 2026. Hopefully, if the strike will be over by then. Then you will be receiving the letter from us with the new proposed value, and it will be at the beginning of January. So last year, we were running this program all the way from January until April. You don't need to go anywhere. It's all over the phone. It makes that easier for homeowners to not to go anywhere. It's 15 minutes. It's scheduled on time, and we are to call you back on your date which you chose, and it's actually very friendly over the internet.
So you don't have to appeal until you
Until
done
if you
this
see,
route first.
right, so only after that route, if you've seen that there was no changes or you're still not satisfied with the value, only after that you can appeal when you're gonna get your final letter.
And there's no cost to having that
For
discussion.
that phone call, there is no cost, nothing, so hopefully. Okay,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
We have decided that we are going to hear item 11, even though the applicant is not present. So I will turn it over to you, Madam Assessor, to make your presentation.
Thank you. The file number 24-853. The roll number of the subject is 120609999000. The address is 1237 Wellington Crescent. It's located in the neighborhood of Wellington Crescent, Market Region Taxi River Heights. It's a two-story building. Year effective build is 2008. Without year effective build at the moment in 2008. Living area is 4,760 square feet. The subject has the walkout basement, which is more superior. Basement finish, it was no, and then I crossed it down as yes, and I will explain that shortly. Full bath, half bath and showers. Before it was none, and now we have amounts. Full 2 bathrooms, half bath 4 and 3 showers. Central air conditioner, the fireplace, and the multi-attached garage. The assessed lot size of the subject is 17,921 square foot, and it's adjacent to the Assiniboine River with a light traffic. The assessed value was at $2,561,000, which would bring us to the total of assessed per square foot at $538.03. I'm presenting you today the 4 comparables, all located in the Wellington Crescent, the same market region, Tuxedo on the River Heights. They all 2 stories. They are year effective build range between 1927 to 2013. The effective year build range between 1941 to 2014. Living area is ranging between 2,032 square feet to 5,170 square feet. Only the comparable 4 has the partial basement. All comparables have the basement complete. The full bath, the comparable 3 has 3 full bathrooms. All other comparables have 1 full bathrooms. However, the half bathrooms, that's where it's more even set out. And I would say that only the comparable 1 will bring us to the closer amount as the subject to actually 5 full bathrooms. if we are taking into consideration half bath and the standing showers with them. The central air conditioning only the comparable two doesn't have. But the fireplaces, the comparables all have, and so the attached garages, they all multi except the comparable 4. The comparable 4 doesn't have the attached, but it has detached single garage, which is inferior to the subject. There is no in-ground pools or sunroofs. The assessed lot sizes vary between 8,000 and 29 square feet to the largest 52,125 square feet. The comparables 2 and 4, they adjacent to a Assiniboine River with the light traffic, such as subject. The comparable 3 has the commercial adjacent with the slight light traffic, and the comparable 1 is sitting in internal corner. The sale prices range between 760,000 to 1,950,000, with a sale price per square foot of between $355.42 to $464.18. The time adjustment sale price range between 751,600 to 1,984,500. Time adjustment sale price range between $369.18 to $453.51. Before I will conclude, I do have a map as well for you to see, and as you can see, all the comparables are very close in proximity to our subject. In fact, one of our comparable number 4 is the neighbor to our subject. And I would like to state that I completed the full inspection on December 4th of 2024. And due to certain restrictions, I personally went there. I don't have pictures to provide. I know that the subject was bought in 2022 in April 19th, and it was bought for $1,600,000. And the state of the subject was incomplete, and that's why I could show providing you with the small residential client with a full photo. That's the abbreviation from the MLS. And it will state that the work is done approximately 80%. However, after my completion, I have noticed that certain things were done, certain things are still not done. For example, the exterior, the home is undergoing a full exterior renovation, including the patio. The balcony shows the visible deterioration underneath. That is the balcony which is located above the garage. The 3 new air conditioners were installed. The windows are original to 2008 age, but it's in a very good condition. And what they've done, they just doing the wrap around, and they, at the moment in the interior, took all the framings out, and the baseboards as well. And they continue doing the renovations inside of the home too. Then, so the interior was showing that missing window frames, no doors for any of the rooms. Some light fixtures are still missing, however, some were already installed. There was actually not quite the same state in the home when they purchased back in 2022. The kitchen cabinets are still missing the doors, and that's how it was purchased. The new staircase balusters and landing on both sides already were complete, so they just need furnishing. The walkout basement has all walls already complete. Prior to that, back in 2022, when the subject was purchased, the basement was not finished at all. And now they do have partial ceiling up, but the flooring only is subflooring installed, so the remaining work is still in progress to complete the floor. It was very nice, warm, cozy. It's just the work was not fully done. The patio doors were not fully closing, and they were not really functionable, so they did hatch two of them. I'm assuming there would be maybe replacement for those two doors and the washrooms. The washrooms are all set, however, they have, that's why I have specified, and now I have an explanation for that. Why prior to the subject sale before, we had no basements, basement finish, and now I said, yes, it does, but not fully done. And now with the full bathroom counts and half bathroom showers, so they in fact added a little bit more because now they have even something in the basement. One half bath with missing vanity, still there. Half bath with standing shower, there is still missing vanity. Another half bathroom was fully done. Another one full bathroom with extra sink, which is a double vanity, is complete. One full bathroom with a shower and extra vanity, which is a double sink, is complete. And it's only one half bath with a standing shower, which is still missing the vanity. So, based on, my, visit in December, all my full inspection, understanding that the condition is still improving, understanding that the purchase, which we cannot really consider, because it was still not fully livable, and that's what it states even in the MLS prior to it. Now they completing the work. Now they brought it more to the livable condition. I'm asking to still, based on all I've seen, to reduce the value to 1,725,000, which brings us to the square foot at $362.31. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kraus, do you have any questions of the assessor?
I have questions.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
I don't want to ask any questions, no.
Are you the owner of the home?
No, I have no questions, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering, you said none of the rooms have any doors?
None of the rooms have doors at the moment. They all spread around. Because after all, it's a large, it's 4,000 square feet house. Yes, however, at the moment, none.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think that concludes all of the items, unless you would like to make a summation. There weren't many questions.
For
but
rebuttal, no.
I will, no rebuttal for this one.
That's about that.
So we've heard all of the items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out in this freezing cold
Yes.
day. You could have zoomed in, eh?
No,
She doesn't like to zoom in.
I don't, and in fact, I was just doing on Monday, I was doing the exam. And we always have to do everything online.